You know that feeling when you get a great idea, that initial spark? Have you ever really thought about its entire life cycle? I mean, from that first chaotic flash all the way to its final world-changing form and even what comes after? Well, today, we're diving deep into the cosmic engine that drives that whole process. We're talking about the four emissaries of Chokhmah, the sphere of wisdom. Think of them as the architects of destiny and evolution itself.
Okay, so let's get our bearings. What you're looking at here is the tree of life, which is basically a map of consciousness. We're going to zoom right in on that second sphere, Chokhmah. You can think of it as this great generator, the birthplace of divine ideas before they ever take on any kind of form. It's like the source code for literally any creation. But how do these pure ideas actually make it into our world? Well, that's where its emissaries come in.
So here's our roadmap. We're going to journey through the complete life cycle of creation. We'll meet the four incredible forces that govern how things start, how they adapt, how they break through barriers, and finally, how they transcend. This is your field guide to understanding how anything, from a new business to a piece of art, actually comes to be.
First off, let's talk about their group name, the Predetermining. Now, this isn't about some rigid, unchangeable fate, not at all. It's about how focused action predetermines the future you're building. Their whole job is to take pure, raw potential and pull it into the world of action, creating a space where development isn't just possible, it's continuous.
And here they are. Meet the team. Hagad, Kahavad, Magad, and Hebehai. Now, don't think of them as four totally separate entities. It's more like they're four critical phases of a single, elegant machine for managing change and growth. Each one has a very unique role, but together, they form a complete system for evolution. I love this slide because it lays out our whole cast of characters, right? You've got the architect, who builds the foundation, the combiner, who navigates all the chaos, the player, who engineers breakthroughs when you're stuck, and finally, the seeker, who makes sure the whole cycle can begin all over again. So let's start at the very beginning, with the architect.
First up is Hagad, the monumental architect. This is the force that grabs that raw, wild spark of an idea and channels it into focused, disciplined work. It's the sheer power of taking that very first step.
People often call Hagad the tamer of primal chaos, and for good reason. It's the absolute catalyst for action. Let's be real, without Hagad, every brilliant idea would just stay that way, an idea, a fleeting thought with zero traction in the real world.
And this just nails Haggard's job description. It takes that wild cosmic energy, that raw ambition, that will to power, and it grounds it. It turns that chaotic impulse into a structured, productive force, all through what it calls the sacred ritual of work.
So here's the bottom line. Hagad provides that crucial initial structure. It's the focused will that draws up the blueprint, pours the foundation, and gives a chaotic impulse its very first physical body. This is where potential meets the pavement. Okay, so you've built something. It has form, but now it has to actually survive out there in the wild. Let's move on to Kahava, the force of adaptation, that teaches this new creation how to navigate a super complex and chaotic world. Kava is known as the architect of dynamics. It's the master of what we often call synchronicity. Those meaningful coincidences that just seem to guide a project forward at the perfect time. It's what weaves your new creation into the bigger fabric of reality. And this is so key. Kahabav's magic isn't about brute force or rigid control. Nope. It's about phenomenal flexibility. It's the art of surfing the waves of chaos, not trying to command the ocean. It's all about adapting to reality with a kind of grace. So while Hagad gives you that initial push to get started, Kahabab gives you the endurance to keep going. It provides the project with the ethical and material support it needs to stay afloat, teaching it to bend without breaking when it runs into the unpredictable storms of the real world.
But what happens when you hit a wall? When all your hard work and all your flexibility just aren't cutting it anymore? Well, that's when Magad, the totally paradoxical, enlightened player, steps onto the stage.
Magad is the conductor of the game, the architect of quantum leaps. And here's the paradox. These incredible leaps forward don't happen because you try harder. They happen through total surrender. It's the master of the breakthrough that comes from letting go.
This is such a powerful idea, isn't it? When you're completely stuck, when logic has totally failed you, Magad's strategy is to just stop pushing. By completely giving up control, you release this massive amount of pent-up energy, and that is what fuels the breakthrough.
The big takeaway here is just how counterintuitive Magad's whole function is.
It's that cathartic, beautiful release that happens only when you finally stop trying to force a solution. It's the magic of radical acceptance, and it turns a crisis into a moment of pure, ecstatic progress.
And now we come to the final stage of the cycle with Hivahei. This emissary oversees what might just be the most difficult step of all, knowing how to move on from your own success.
Hivahei is the architect of existential separation. Its entire job is to prevent stagnation. Once a creation is perfected, once it's successful, this is the force that pushes the creator to move beyond it, to go seek a new truth. And this is so crucial for continuous evolution. Hivahei shows us that even the greatest success can become a kind of golden cage. It compels the creator to abandon their comfort zone, to literally leave the throne they built, all to ensure that the journey of growth never, ever stops. Okay, so we've met all 4 of our architects. Now let's put it all together and see how they work as this single, cohesive engine that's constantly driving evolution.
And this just lays out the cycle so perfectly. You can really see it as this 4-stage cascade, right? Hagod's labor creates something the Kahvab then has to adapt. When that adaptation hits a limit, Magod's release creates a breakthrough. And after that breakthrough is perfected, Hivahei's departure makes room for a brand new cycle to begin. It's beautiful.
You can even break this engine down into 2 main functions, or like 2 different teams. Hagod and Kahvab are on team embodiment and survival. Their job is to get the idea born and help it live in the world. Then, Magad and Hivahei take over as team expansion and transcendence, and their job is to make sure that survival doesn't turn into stagnation.
You know, ultimately, this is the great lesson of Chokhmah's emissaries. It's a journey that takes you from being a conqueror who builds things to becoming an enlightened wanderer who's always seeking that next horizon. It's about really understanding that true evolution is an eternal, unending process.
So, as we wrap up, I'll leave you with this question to think about. Looking at your own projects, your own life, your own personal growth, which of these 4 powerful stages are you navigating right now? Are you building, adapting, surrendering, or are you getting ready to leave it all behind for something new?